Oh, man. I'm getting tired of coming on here and talking about Colts losses, man. But here we are. Another loss for the Indianapolis Colts. I was a little bullish in my two previous breakdown videos that the Colts were going to win. Now, I know a lot of fans of especially the opposing team, they come in and talking shit. I deserve it, absolutely. And I welcome them with open arms. How you doing, Packer fans? Good game, y'all. Congratulations on a really, really nice win. I think a lot of people didn't expect the Packers to win. Maybe even some Packers fans included. But back to what I was saying, I really was confident going into this game. Like, there are and were some things that I thought the Colts were going to do and do well. But so far, they haven't done them. Now, in Game 1 against the Houston Texans, Jonathan Taylor didn't run the ball very well. Anthony Richardson was actually the leading rusher for the Colts that game. Jonathan Taylor really ran the ball well against the Packers, which I was correct in that aspect. Now, I'll get to Jonathan Taylor here in a minute. What I was not correct about was the Colts just shutting down the run. And even people, Pat McAfee said it, there's been some local guys that have said it. You knew what the Packers were going to do. You knew that they were going to run the ball. And yet you still couldn't stop them. 164 yards rushing in the first quarter. That's the most since 1991. I mean, you're not going to win any football games doing that. Josh Jacobs ended having 32 carries, 151 yards. That is 310 yards given up to just two running backs in the last 2 weeks. 159 to Joe Mixon in week 1, and now 151 to Josh Jacobs in week 2. And like I said, you knew that they were going to run the ball, and yet you couldn't stop them. And this comes after a week that, Michael Lombardi, I've said this numerous times to numerous people, Michael Lombardi got on his podcast and the Pat McAfee show bashing the coaching style and the schematics of Gus Bradley. And nothing changed. And now Bill Belichick gets on the Pat McAfee show and he's talking about how Gus Bradley's defense is not good. He needs to go. Okay, I'm just going to flat out say it. Gus Bradley needs to go. Or he needs to change something. I don't know. If he won't change, then we're done. The season is done, because if the defense is as bad as it was, especially against the run, what do you think a quarterback like C.J. Stroud, a perfect example now, because Joe Mixon, despite having an injury, and I'm not real sure much about it, I just know he got injured. C.J. Stroud can dot you up. He can complete, he went 24-32 against us, and Joe Mixon still had 159 yards. You're never going to beat the Texans if you can't stop the run. What do you think is going to happen to the play action? And your secondary is banged up as it is, because Chris Ballard, he just would flat out refuse to address the depth or the lack of playing time or the lack of skill in the secondary, and now it's rearing its ugly head. The defense is completely trash. Blackman's out. Juju Brents is out for the season. You have very, very young guys, very inexperienced guys that, didn't get picked apart by Malik Willis, but he still went 12 of 14 with 122 yards and his first passing touchdown of his career. And hats off to Matt LaFleur, because he put Malik Willis in the best position for him to succeed. And Malik Willis executed on all cylinders. And the Colts, man, I really, really thought that the Colts were going to be really good up front. DeForest Buckner, who, by the way, I know got hurt, and from all reports, it doesn't sound as bad as it looked. It looked pretty nasty, though, I won't lie. He's going to be out for probably a couple of weeks. And then Grover Stewart and Kwity Paye, and obviously Samson Ebukam, he's out too. And in Latu, he got a hip injury. But going back to those other two guys, they aren't living up to what they've been and what they've been paid for. You got guys like Zaire Franklin, who's been paid, and now he's missing. I haven't heard his name or seen him make very many tackles. EJ Speed, same deal. Like, our linebackers aren't playing like they have before. Like, this, to me, is a big surprise, because last season you had really good quality linebacker play and good front seven play. Your secondary was the issue. Coming into the season, we weren't worried about our front seven. Now it's an issue, and that was our bread and butter. We were supposed to dominate in the trenches, and now we're getting dominated in the trenches. That's Chris Ballard's bread and butter. You made one offseason free agency move and the Dolphins defensive tackle. I don't even remember his name. He's a backup defensive tackle. And then nothing else. Like, you drafted A.D. Mitchell, who is having problems of his own. That's fine. He's having catching issues. He's dropping the ball a little bit. Him and Anthony Richardson are clearly not on the same page. Anthony Richardson is going to have his growing pains. Okay? Anthony Richardson is going to be bad and erratic at some points. He had some bad plays, some bad decisions in this game, but this game isn't solely on Anthony Richardson's shoulders. He is not the reason why we lost. I want to make that clear. Now, there were some bad throws he made, absolutely. That throw to Pittman was probably one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen a Colt, a starting player, not a backup, but a starting quarterback make. Luck, Manning, and so on and so forth. Like, it was a bad pick for that throw to Pittman, but he's a very, very young quarterback, and he's going to have his bad moments. What I don't want is for some reason, the Colts took out their best player in the fourth quarter. Now, Shane Steichen said we were down 10 with like 6 minutes to go. You're not going to run in that situation. The bottom line is Jonathan Taylor didn't play in the fourth quarter. Jonathan Taylor played 29 of the 56 offensive snaps. That 3rd-and-1 call in Green Bay territory before Matt Gay lined up and kicked a 50-plus yard field goal, that 3rd-and-1 call that you had, put Jonathan Taylor and hand him the damn ball if you're going to run it anyway. Like, I don't know what Shane Steichen's calling. Like, he's making me question things, too, about him. But you got one of the best running backs in the league who can get you a yard, get you a must-needed first down on a drive that you've got to have. Not really just a field goal, but a touchdown would be nice, right? At that point, you were down, and you needed a touchdown, really. And you elected to go with some option out and he toss and was just bobbled, and he got tackled for a 3-4 yard loss. Trey Sermon, who was, no disrespect, just one of the slower running backs that we've got on our roster. You toss him the ball. It just was a bad play call. Why take Jonathan Taylor out of the game? That's the second time that Shane Steichen's done that. He had 12 carries for 103 yards. Jonathan Taylor was averaging 8.6 yards per carry against a Green Bay Packers running defense who had just given up a bunch of yards to Saquon Barkley the week before. You were starting to get something. Hand him the ball. Run him the rock. But here we are. Now we're 0-2. We are in a bad spot. Not going to lie. I don't like being 0-2. The Colts are 0-2 in 2014, and they did win the division. That was the last time the Colts won the division in 2014. They did start 0-2. They did make the playoffs. Hell, they even made it to the AFC Championship. So there's still hope. But I don't think the 2024 Colts are the 2014 Colts until their defense gets a lot better. And until then, it's not looking good. Because right now, you're underdogs to the Chicago Bears coming into Lucas Oil Stadium. And then you've got the Pittsburgh Steelers coming up next. Both of those teams can actually play defense. What's going to happen when, Anthony Richardson's got guys like T.J. Watt breathing down his neck? I don't even know who the Bears have, but the Bears have a solid defense. The Bears looked okay. Some stuff they got to clean up too. They've got a rookie quarterback, whatever. But the Colts start 0-2. Since 2020, out of the 32 teams that have started 0-2, 2 of them have made the playoffs. 2 of the teams out of the 32 teams that have started 0-2 since 2020 when they introduced the 7-seed playoffs, 2 teams have made the playoffs. Will the Colts make the playoffs? I still got a lot of faith in him, man. I bleed blue. Even during this game, I was saying, well, we got to do this, this, and this, and it'll be good. I'm always an optimistic fan. I'm just pointing out all the things that the Colts, in my eyes, did wrong. Now, don't let the score fool you. If you just looked at the score, you said 16-10. Oh man, the Colts did not play that well. Like it really, honestly, could have been worse than 16-10 in favor of the Packers. Like, not a very good game. And if Jordan Love would have played, oh my God, we probably would have turned it off early. There would have been a chance of, my dad would have been like, dude, I'm not watching this anymore. No, I'm done. It could have been a chance if Jordan Love would have played. So what are you going to do against the team that has a lot better quarterback than Malik Willis? And Malik Willis played great, but come on now. 12 of 14, 122 yards. He was set up for success by a great, great coach in Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur outcoached Shane Steichen. That's it, man. I got outcoached, outplayed. I thought coming in we were going to do these things, and the Packers did them to us. I said that Jonathan Taylor was going to run all over the Packers. Josh Jacobs ran all over us. Oh, boy, did he. The Jonathan Taylor got his a little bit. He did. I was kind of right. I didn't quite anticipate him only playing 29 of the 56 offensive snaps, but here we are. I'm going to end with this. Run the damn ball and go Colts.